We are back again with another episode of R&D. Today we will be discussing the Amazon show, The Tick. Now this is the... You know what? I'm going to let Justin explain this part.
Yes, I did. It's good! Hey everybody, Justin here. I'm here to talk to you about a little history of The Tick. Tick started off by comic book creator Ben Edlund in 1986, and he wanted to make the mascot for New England Comics. It was about a couple of chain stores, and it was a spoof on superheroes. Then it grew popularity, and so he made a comic book series fully out of that, where he's a bumbling idiot, is in his tick uniform in a psychiatric ward, and he decides to escape because he was bored. And that is pretty much the origin of The Tick. Fun fact. It was starting to raise in popularity, so in 1994 it became a Fox Kids cartoon, ran for 3 seasons. There was a crappy video game that was made. And in 2001, there was a live-action series made with Patrick Warburton. Only lasted 1 season. It was during the 9/11 stuff, so I guess no one wanted to get their jollies tickled. So then comes to present day in 2017. Really 2016 when the Amazon pilot series created the live-action series with Ben Edlund producing and helping write. So it got picked up, and then it became the series that everybody is now watching. Check it out. Back to you guys.
So now that's out of the way. Let's get into the meat and juicy justice potatoes of the conversation about The Tick. Again, this is an adaptation, which is the kind of thing that's just going on a lot these days, and everybody has sort of mixed feelings about what happens when these kinds of things are adapted. But it goes without saying that this show has already had a live-action TV show. My personal opinion is that this show is an improvement over the original one. How did you feel about that?
I haven't seen the Patrick Warburton show in a long time, and I've recently rewatched one of the animated episodes. It was good. I thoroughly enjoyed this Tick show. The premiere, which aired like a year ago on Amazon Prime, you had it was one of its pilot season things where Amazon will throw up a couple pilot episodes of shows, and you vote on it if you want to.
Really?
If you want them to fund them or not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it was really good. I liked it. I voted on that because that and Jean-Claude Van Damme Johnson came out around the same time, and I cannot wait for that show either. Oh man, Sammy, I'll tell you about that show later. But I thought this rendition of the live-action Tick was really good. It was half-hour episodes. Right now, it's only half of the season, so 6 episodes. Great. In, out, you're done. The acting was well done. You know, for it being a low-budget TV show, it was done really well, a lot better than Inhumans. And it had the creator of the show, of the comic book.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Really?
He was one of the main producers and running it. So he had a lot to say in his own creation, and I always liked that.
Your initial feelings about it?
I have vague memories of the cartoon. I didn't watch it since the 90s when I was a kid. Like, I watched it, liked it, as a kid, and it kind of drifted off and it faded into memory. The first live-action show adaptation I didn't watch, so I don't remember much about it. But
It was only on for like 9 episodes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. This show caught me by surprise. I can only really compare it to Guardians of the Galaxy in my personal headspace. Like, I didn't know what to expect, and when it came out, it was funny. It was captivating with the storylines, and maybe ask a lot of questions. And I wish there was more episodes. I just wanted to keep seeing what happened. So I just thought it was great. It's very funny, and the action was pretty compelling, and it just kept me captivated. I just wanted more. I couldn't stop. I could not stop watching it. I didn't even take breaks. Nothing. I just wanted to keep it rolling. But so far so good. I hope they keep the same pace, with the way they're handling the show forward, or whenever they come up with new episodes. So excellent so far.
Sorry, I'm actually looking something up because I don't want to be embarrassed.
What did you think of it?
Well, that is why I'm looking it up. The first thing that struck me about the show was that when I figured out that Patrick Warburton would not be playing the Tick, which a lot of us feel is like, okay, he's kind of perfect for that character. Now, I actually got to do the same thing that I did with Death Note, which was watch this show first and then go back and watch the original. Now, while I love Patrick Warburton's work, the voice he has for that character is perfect. But in the original show, where he actually played the character on television, he actually didn't work well, like in person as the character. It was actually very odd. He was really smiley. He almost looked like he was high the whole time. So,
like, they changed up his mask too, like in the show, in the Patrick Warburton live action one. So like he just had like this weird open face, so his face was all pressed together, and he just sounded like Patrick Warburton. That's the thing that kind of bums me out. I love Patrick Warburton's voice, but it's Patrick Warburton in everything I hear or see him do, and it sucks. It's like Steve Blum. Like all I hear is Spike. Like, any show that he was on,
it's Spike.
All I hear is Spike. Like,
right.
Even when he's Wolverine, Spike has adamantium claws.
So the good thing here is that when I started out watching the new adaptation, and the Tick is played by Peter Serafinowicz, I believe is how that is pronounced.
Good enough.
Watching the show, I kind of I didn't want to like him because I was kind of like, oh man, I want to be Patrick Warburton. But as the show goes on, I can't help but actually start to like this guy as the actor. Like, he wins you over. You feel odd seeing him visually because he's actually kind of creepy sometimes as he plays the character. But every time he starts to open his mouth, and the screwed up metaphors and different things that he does throughout the show are just make that character very likable. So he ended up actually being one of the best parts of the show. I feel like the cast actually was great, and I like how seriously they took the show, because the original TV show was very sort of odd, almost like they tried to make it a noir period piece, and the comedy of it was just very offbeat. What did you think was good?
Yeah, I do like the Tick character, and he's a really strange character, but you just can't help but be interested in how he reacts, what he's gonna say, and what he's gonna do. He's kind of a sort of like, best way I can describe, he's like a sleepy chaos to the character. He's just like this strange force of nature that just goes around trying to be the best superhero he can be. And I do like that they focused more on Arthur, because from what I can remember, that was always kind of a throwaway character, but they gave that character a lot of substance, and they gave him a past and a reason why he does the things he does, like a traumatic past. And the Tick is kind of just there to be his physical protector and enforcer whenever he gets in too much trouble.
Yeah.
So I just thought the handling of those two characters is great, and the villain is deviously awesome. He's just like a fucking grumpy, devious grandpa that you.
The Terror,
right? The Terror.
It's called, yeah.
He's just like eclectic, mean, evil grandpa dude that's got a mission. And
he's like the loudmouth uncle you have
right.
that says inappropriate shit.
This is fucking amazing.
The Terror was in the other live action.
Honestly,
series, right?
I don't know, because I only got through a couple episodes of the original.
No clue.
And I think they had some different villains and stuff, so I'm not sure whether that's something that they made for this show.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're actually a bit lacking on the history there, so that's our fault for not digging into it enough. The other thing we haven't brought up yet is Overkill. I thought Overkill was sort of comedic version of he's like a mashup of the Punisher and Deathstroke stuck together, and then the whole dynamic between him and the boat, his roommate, all of that was great. And the comedic timing of, there wasn't much cursing in the show, but when there was cursing, it was delivered with great comedic timing.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that I thought too. So in the premiere episode, unless they changed it when they added the rest of the episodes, I don't remember there being any vulgarity. And then in the second episode, when you're in the pyramid dude, or
when you're introduced to Raw, or
that guy, and you're in his limo with Miss Lint or whatever. And then they just start swearing. I was like, oh, this will be an interesting dynamic. If that's how you know someone's a bad guy, is if they swear. Because then it just seemed like those were the only people that I noticed picking up on that.
That's an interesting point.
And then also, but Arthur's sister, kind of started swearing too, because she's teetering on, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But she's teetering
a lot like
lines.
Overkill. Overkill's character also sort of falls right there in the middle as an anti-hero.
I really liked in this version that they, everyone thinks Arthur's just crazy because he watched his dad die. in the
His heroes.
They think he's sort of
yeah.
scarred for life.
Yeah, so that he just sees superheroes, even though supposedly all of them are dead, and then out of nowhere, the Tick shows up, which is kind of like his comic book origins that I recently looked up.
Yeah, that was
like
the original. But he doesn't remember.
In his comic book origin, you just see him wake up at a mental institution, and he's like, I'm bored, and just like falls out of a window, and then realizes that he's kind of indestructible and decides to be like all superhero. He wakes up in the Tick suit, so like he doesn't remember who he is because he's been hit in the head so many times.
So they gave him the Joker treatment. He's just an unreliable, if any narration at all about his past.
So that's why he's so wonky and stuff.
Yeah.
And
but that sort of gets into
that.
another great element of the show, which is their basic sort of setup for the backstory of all these characters. Because throughout the show, there's a lot of sort of like information that makes you think, oh man, there's a lot going on here that we haven't heard yet. Like the one member of the Fab Five who lives that they don't kill. The terrorist says, I'll just break his hands. Like what happened to that character? There's all this connection to Overkill and them, and it makes me wonder if he was a member of the Fab Five. Why does he hate the dog? And then the past relationship with Miss Lent and her ex-husband, who she's still living with for some reason. All of that was hilarious, but it makes you feel like there's this deep backstory that we haven't gotten into yet. Hey everybody, welcome to another segment of Missed Opportunities, in which I discuss the areas in which the current film project could have been made better. Honestly, there's not a lot for me to talk about in terms of the Tick. This show actually does very well in terms of delivering on all the important emotional and action notes of the film that we all expected to see. Sort of like the moment where Arthur believes that the Tick isn't real. He believes that it's all in his head. We finally get that gratification when his sister, Dot, actually sees the Tick. The only correction that I really had about this film was that it took a little too long for Arthur to get to the point where he wanted to become a hero. He was very reluctant, and that dragged on until almost the near end of the show. But other than that, they did a great job. This is going to be a hard part to talk about. What was bad about the show? What do we think that they got wrong? Or what could have been improved?
I can take this.
I got this.
It was not much. I just think they kind of just were hung up on Arthur just accepting that he should be take this path of being a superhero head on and accepting the perspective that the Tick was trying to provide for him. Like that dragged on for what I want to say 3 episodes.
Almost to the end of the season. I think you're right. It suffered from the same thing that the Defenders had, which was too much of them going, I don't want to be a hero. I'm not a hero. Okay, I'm a hero.
And the fucking Foggy syndrome. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I enjoyed that aspect because he himself was thrown into this situation that he didn't want to be in.
Yeah, it's very different from the original where Arthur immediately, in the first episode, wants to be hero.
Which I don't disagree. It's just the duration was a little much. I get it. It's like, you're going to be conflicted because you have this traumatic past and you're going to have trouble confronting it years later, but too long, man. Too long. It's like, all right, enough. Let's just get that over with a few episodes and get right back to the main plot.
Yeah, it weirdly didn't bug me as much as the Marvel show. Maybe because it's half-hour episodes. And they're just, or 20-minute episodes, but they just go by quicker. For me to just be like, yep, okay, I kind of get it. If I was some weird kid constantly taking pills and hallucinating, I don't know if I want to put on this suit that everyone's trying to kill me about.
So we only got 4 hours of whining instead of 8.
Yeah.
It's still, any more amount than 1 is too much for me. Like, come on, man, stop it.
Yeah, I feel like that should have gone on maybe for the first 3 episodes, and then he should have been like, okay, let me try and grow into this. But I think when that moment does come in the show, it's satisfying enough that you're like, okay, I forgive you for putting us through that for 6 episodes. But
it's too much. I want more. I was like, where's more? Come on, man.
And you got anything?
We'll get the second half of the season either towards the end of this year or the beginning of next year.
So it's can't wait.
We only got half of it.
We only got half of it, and that's kind of what Amazon was wanting to do is like, people binge things too much, and then they go, "Oh, I want more already." It's like, we just gave you.
Which is probably 6 months to a year of shooting, and you watched it in one day.
Right, and so that's why they're like, we don't want to release these weekly, but we'll give you this chunk here, give you this chunk here. I think that's totally fine. Like, if people pick up on that, that's cool with me. Like, give me a couple episodes at a time, and then come back a little later. Give me a couple episodes at a time. Also, that means that people are working constantly, and there's, you still get your little like breaks, and then they still have their job.
So, do you have any elements of the show that you thought needed improvement or didn't work?
You know what? No. Like, I honestly really liked this show for everything that it has so far given. I mean,
it definitely leaves you wanting more. That's for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
It did its job. I'm hooked. I want to watch more. I mean, sure, some of the special effects could be a little better, but
It's a TV show.
I think that's also part of the comedic sort of parody version of it. Yeah.
Well, not even that it's a TV show. It's more of an independent TV show because it's on Amazon, so there's not going to be as much money being thrown at it as if it was on like CW or ABC or NBC.
Well, what I mean is it's still like a comical parody of comic book superhero genre.
Oh, it's definitely satire.
It's okay for it to look a little quirky, because that could just be part of the humor.
Yeah, it just adds to it.
All right. So, to surmise, if you had to give the show a grade, what would it be?
Solid A. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I give it a pretty strong A. There's some improvements that they could have made, but not many. So, I'm definitely sticking around and hopeful to see the rest of it. What did you think?
A.
Yeah, man.
All right,
Shit's
so
good.
The Tick across the board scores an A for us. We're definitely waiting around to see the second season, which we'll also be reviewing. So keep it up, Amazon. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what we had to say, please subscribe. Check us out on Patreon and support the show at patreon.com/Studio4Productions. Thank you.